Hey, welcome to Speakers Talking About Speaking. It's me, Lee Jackson, the president of the PSA in the UK and Ireland, the Professional Speaking Association. I was going to have some lunch with a friend today, and so I thought I'd get here a bit early and I'd ask him to join us. So please welcome my guest, John Hotowka, ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me.
Hello, John.
Can you help me out, mate? I'm a little lost. Have you got the directions to the nearest tip?
We get the directions to Asda.
Directions to Asda. Oh look.
We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to our.
Forward to it. Hey, we're on
fantastic.
camera. Like this. You know what? You know what I like about this? It's like we've not rehearsed it or anything.
It's like
I like about it.
it's like none of it's ever going to be rehearsed
Is
at
it
all.
now?
Look at John's coming. He's even got a suit on. Thank you, John.
I've had a bath.
He's had a bath
I don't
and
know.
shave.
Have a bath
and a
and
suit.
shave. Not till Christmas.
So this is John Hotowka. John is a fellow at the PSA, and you also have another award, I believe. Do you have another award?
Yes, the PSAE.
Okay. Do you know what that stands for?
No idea. The Professional Speaking Award of Excellence.
Yeah.
I
So
believe.
there's
Yeah.
not many people that get that award.
No, I paid a lot of money for that.
That's right. Yeah.
I bribed people for that. I did.
So John has been a speaker for many years. I'm going to get him to tell his story a little bit, but also just to give us some tips so that help you to speak more and speak better. So first of all, I think you're the only person in the world that I've ever met called.
Really?
Yeah.
You've only got one person that you've ever met.
only-
You've never
with-
met anybody at all.
With your
The only
your
person.
surname Hotowka
Yeah.
is a fascinating surname, isn't it? What's the background of your surname?
Well, some people think it's Irish or Tauka, but it
Oh, I see.
isn't. It isn't.
Right.
It's an anglicised version of a Polish name, and this is a true story. The original,
Yeah.
I believe, it was originally Hotowka. Oh.
Oh, okay.
And when my dad landed in this country in 1955 from Poland,
Yeah.
they went, Hotowka, you're in. And that
Oh,
was
I
it.
see,
And,
right.
they changed it to Hotowka. And,
Gosh.
and it's the only, you go on Google, there's only one Hotowka. And
Which
I
is
don't know if
really,
that's
it's
a good
really
thing. That's a good thing, I suppose.
well, yeah. I mean, it's a good thing for getting domain addresses. I mean, if there's any speakers out there called Dave Smith, they'll have a problem getting a domain
They would,
address, won't
they
they?
would,
You know what I mean? Lee Jackson. There's a few Lee Jacksons.
Yeah.
There's a rugby league player called Lee Jackson. There's a script writer called Lee Jackson, and there's a guy that's got leejackson.co.uk who's does reviews of restaurants. So, and then there's me. That's,
That's
so
all right.
there you go.
You're in good company.
You never know.
Yeah.
So tell us exactly what you do. So you do something a little different to other speakers because you do have a particular gift. But just tell us, like, what's
I
a
got it for
typical
Christmas. That
It's
gift.
not going to be a serious interview. This, I'm
No,
telling you now.
well, I don't know. It might be. We'll see where we go on. Right. So my background is in 1980. This is not a long story, I promise you. But in 1989, I was made redundant for the third time as an optician because I used to be an
Okay.
optician.
Yeah.
And that weekend, I thought, what am I going to do? I don't like optics anymore. Nothing wrong with being an optician. It's just that it wasn't for me. And I decided that I was going to follow my passion, and my
Great.
passion was magic because I love
Okay.
magic. So I became a full-time magician, a professional magician, and so I started performing close-up magic in local restaurants, doing little magic tricks around the tables, and then in 12 years I built up my career to such a degree that I was working for nearly half of the blue chip companies in the UK.
Great.
But I wasn't doing little tricks around the tables. I was being flown around Europe and the UK, and where I was using my magic to promote their products and services on exhibition stands.
Brilliant.
I was generating, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of leads. I was at their events, their conferences, where I was using my magic to communicate their corporate messages. And I was doing really, really well. And as I said, I was no longer in front of audiences of half a dozen or so at a time, but I was on big stages of about in front of 600-800 people at a time. And in 2002, I had a massive crisis in confidence. Massive crisis in confidence. Everything went downhill. My business went downhill because I was afraid of letting down my clients.
Okay.
So anyway, so I thought, hang on a minute, how come I was so successful 1 minute, next minute, I wasn't exactly scared stiff of going on stage or doing what I did, but I thought I wasn't as confident what was going on. So I read a lorry load of self-development books, personal development books. I looked at a couple of religions. I wasn't interested in the religion. I was interested in how they thought, because it's all about how we think.
Okay.
I looked massively into spirituality, and I looked at a little bit of neuroscience and psychology, and I found that when it came to mindset, they were saying basically the same thing The only thing that changed was the language that they used.
Okay.
But the
Right.
basic essence of it, of success on how to live your life, because if you think about it, if
Yeah.
you look at
Yeah.
the Bible or whatever, that's basically like a book on how to live your life. It's got teachings in there
Hmm.
on what to do and how to go about things. And so I thought, right. And then about 7 years ago, somebody turned around to me and said, "Hey, John, you're a success." I said, "Hang on a minute. I'm banging my head against the wall here. What do you mean I'm a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
success?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, at least you've been in business for so long. You keep going. You get."
Yeah.
I thought, well, I suppose in those terms, yeah, I'm a success. Right, come and talk to our team about mindset. Oh, okay then.
Okay.
Because I was
Great.
thinking, what do I know about mindset?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But I did this presentation. It went really, really well, and I thought maybe there's something in this. So
Okay.
I then re-engineered my career, if you like,
Yeah.
and I decided to start my speaking career from scratch.
Okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
built it up from the ground up, and now I speak at conferences. I talk about achievement thinking, which is I apply to building resilience, managing change. I do a lot of sales conferences,
Yeah.
and I also speak after dinner. And I have two versions. When I say two versions, I can either do a straightforward entertainment after dinner, where it's just magic and comedy, or I do my achievement thinking after dinner, which is lighter than the
Yeah.
conference
Yeah.
speaking because it's more
Because
fun.
we were talking just the other day with some people about after dinners, and I was saying actually how difficult. There's a very successful speaker that I know who told me that they've done one after dinner talk and they would never do it ever again in their life. It was like the worst thing they ever did because they realised that everyone had had 4 or 5 pints. It was like 11 p.m. before they got on or something, and they just and he was trying to do some stuff that would help to change their lives, all quality stuff. But actually, people would just kind of not interested, and he said it was really, really tough. So how do you get over
Right.
what could be the worst audience ever? I guess
It could be the worst audience ever.
Yeah.
Right. It's about managing expectations.
Okay.
There are all sorts of types of dinners, but there are two types of dinners. Let me explain what I mean by that. There are some dinners where, in previous years, all they've had is straightforward entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore, if all they've had is straightforward entertainment, and if they know that it's going to be a late night,
Yeah.
then why have a serious speaker on?
Yeah. I
What you
understand.
need
Yeah.
is you need either somebody who's really, really funny. Okay, I do.
Do you know anyone who's funny?
No idea. I got no idea. Funny peculiar, yes. I know lots of them, but funny, haha, I have no idea. Or you just want music on there so people can stand up and get
Yeah.
and have a dance.
Yeah.
The other type of dinner is, in fact, I did one recently. I've done quite a few recently, where they are used to business speakers.
Okay.
Now, if they're used to having business speakers or relatively, or it might be a sporting speaker,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they're not necessarily telling jokes, but they're telling stories about their life. It's humorous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've also seen, by the way, serious after dinner speakers. I've seen a couple where, apart from at the beginning, maybe two jokes in half an hour, not a single joke, and they held the audience.
Okay.
They were entertaining, but not entertaining, funny, ha. They just had
Yeah.
presence,
Yeah.
and it was
Great
a story, great
storytelling.
storytelling
Yeah.
to tell.
Yeah.
So if the audience is used to that kind of after dinner entertainment, then it'll work. The serious message will work.
Okay.
But in my opinion, I still think humour goes a long, long way in helping to build
Yeah.
up that rapport.
So if you get anyone listening to this, if you get someone says, "Can you come and do an after dinner?" then the questions to ask them are
Right. So for me, I'd say in the past, who have you had in the past? Who have you had speaking
okay.
after dinner in the past? That'll give you an idea of. I'll give you several ideas. First of all, the type of speaker that they've had. Obviously, is it a serious one? Is it a fun one? But it also gives you an idea of the kind of fee they might have paid as well.
I
You
see.
see, being a bit sneaky.
When I first started, you told me that, and it was one of the best tips that anyone in the PSA has ever given me, where you said, ask who did you have last time or last year, and I use that question very often.
Yeah.
And they might say, some names that I would know, or at least I would know what kind of fee band that they're in, and so I know kind of what I'm talking. Okay, yeah, and so that helps you to sort of pitch your idea, because most people that have been speaking for a while know that you have 3 fees generally. You have the fee that you'd love to get.
Oh, yeah.
The fee that's like, okay, then, and then the last one is like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it's the walk away fee, isn't it? And people talk about that in all different ways. But I think that's a good way. And knowing that they've had someone who's experienced like yourself, or another fellow of the PSA, another experienced speaker, helps you to go in at the right fee level. And that's one of the best tips I ever got in the PSA.
And going back to the question about asking, also ask, once you know who the speakers are, what
Okay.
worked. Were they good? Were they
Okay.
good? And if
Yeah.
they were good, why were they good? If they
Yeah.
weren't good, if they didn't go down too well, why did they not go down too well? So
Yeah.
that'll give you an idea of judging the audience. And also ask about the type of event. So, for instance, say, okay, so who's in the audience, for instance?
Yeah.
If it's all, I did one early in the year where it was all upper management, so these were all executives, therefore they could get away with a sophisticated
Yeah.
talk with
Yeah.
humour in it.
Yeah.
Whereas, well, what it is, it's a Christmas party and everybody's trying to get all the secretaries in the broom cupboards or whatever it might be, I don't know, then...
What do you mean the broom cupboard?
Oh, there's a lot of cleaning that needs
Okay,
doing
I
at these
see, right,
hotels. I mean, these hotels are filthy. The dust that's in them is amazing.
Okay,
It's
that's a
just...
different kind of party, right? Okay,
Yeah,
I
and
understand.
whatever, right, fine. But what I'm saying is, generally speaking, in December, in fact, in December, I'll pick and choose my after dinners in December because quite often in
Okay.
December they just want to have a good dance and to get drunk.
Christmas party,
Christmas party type of thing. They're letting their hairs down. But I so many times I get, oh, you'll be great because you've got a message as well. No, don't do that.
I see.
So
I see. That's really good. So yes, Athens is a very different thing. But because you've grown up with magic, it seemed a bit rude not for you to do some kind of trick while we're here. Is there anything you can do in the confines of my luxurious car?
well, you'll have to switch the camera off first. Well, as it just so happens, I hope this works. I hope this works.
Chop my arm off.
I'm going to chop your arm off. Right, okay, so we've got a container full of straws. I'll take out 2 different coloured straws.
Okay.
We're just going to do a simple...
This has not been rehearsed.
That's it.
So I'll have a green one.
Yeah, go for a green
And I'll
one.
go
and
for a
whatever.
pink one.
Go for a pink one. That's all right. Green and pink.
There we go.
Lovely. Right,
Green and
I
pink
hope this
straws.
works. This right, okay, so let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, fine. So... You see, right, so that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the pink straw, right? So
Okay.
there's the pink straw.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it around the green straw. So you can see that. That is definitely wrapped around the green straw, right?
Yeah, got it.
I'm going to wrap the green straw around the pink straw. And then we go 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Look, they penetrate without even breaking or anything. And you know what? I'm impressed that worked myself. Flipping it.
I'm just checking. Look, there's no trap doors in the straws.
No, nothing, no sandbags or anything. That's
Wow.
it. Yeah.
So that wasn't rehearsed.
No, it
That's
wasn't
genuine
rehearsed.
magic.
I just went into Asda now.
You just went to Asda and found.
We cut the camera and went into Asda. I
at
took
that.
2 straws and that was it. That's fine. That's
No.
you can have those.
Oh, thank you. That's
10 pence, 5 pence each.
great. I'll use them a bit later on.
You can
Thank you,
use
Joe.
them.
That's wow. So how do you? So for magic for you, obviously it was your passion. I guess you were doing it while you were being an optician. You were kind of doing tricks and stuff.
Yeah. So that was as a hobby. When I started with magic, I decided from almost the very beginning.
Yeah.
In fact, after about a year of doing magic as a hobby, I decided that I was going to make it a paying hobby.
Yeah.
Because there were books to buy, there were tricks to buy. It was very expensive.
It's expensive, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I ran it as a business almost from the
Yeah.
very beginning. So
anyway, so how many? Can you estimate like how many thousands of pounds have you probably spent on props? Do you think?
And then moving on to the next question, because that I don't want to know. I don't want to.
You don't want to know. It's a
But
lot.
then again,
Have you got like a room in your house that's just full of props and stuff? And
Yeah, it is. Although having said
a
that,
magic room with a curtain over it.
there is. Although having said that, the last few years I've got rid of a lot of magic stuff because I decided to let other people enjoy the books and the tricks. I was an avid collector of books, and I wasn't interested. In fact, I wasn't interested in books from an investment point of view. It was just the knowledge I was interested in.
Yeah. Well, obviously you're a reader. You know, you like to seek knowledge.
Exactly right. And it's the same on your topic, like with your topic and my topic. Yeah. Now I'm reading more about my topic than about magic because I don't need any more magic tricks.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that a lot of magic tricks, they're all variations of variations, but I still buy magic books and tricks.
Sure,
every so often.
Yeah.
So anyway, go on.
Yeah. And we also have because I got to know you a little bit in the PSA and you helped me out back in the days, 8 years ago.
And you haven't given that £5 back yet?
No, I've never given it back. Might have bought you a couple of coffees along the way. But actually then we found out weirdly that we actually do have a mutual friend, John Archer.
Yeah.
Now, John Archer I think, is one of the best comedy
I
magicians.
hate him.
You can't stand him.
I can't stand him because the guy's talented. He's a brilliant.
Yeah.
He's not only talented, he's a really, really nice guy.
Annoying that.
And he's annoyingly nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be that perfect. I hate him.
That is
with
so
a
annoying.
passion.
Well, you'd be glad to know that this horrible, horrible person, who was a mutual friend of ours, he was the first person to beat Penn and Teller on the TV series.
Yeah, he was.
And that is quite an accolade, really. He was the first person to do that. And he's played in Vegas, and he's probably best comedy magician in the UK, does lots of tours. Well, present company accepted.
No, he definitely is. He definitely is.
But actually, we've arranged for him to come to Inspire in October. So he'll be there on the Friday night, at the comedy night, and he'll be coming to entertain us for a period of time where he'll pick people out of the audience. He does mentalism, doesn't he?
Yeah, mind reading.
Mind reading stuff. It's just amazing what he does. So he'll be there, and John will be throwing things at him from the back
just
row.
to put him off, just because I can't stand him being better than me. That's all it is. It's not jealousy or anything like that.
No. So so John actually will be there. There'll be more details about that. You'll see in the links on the videos. So if someone here is a new speaker, what couple of tips would you give them? And I know you've been particularly strong on changing the way you do marketing recently. Is there any tips you could give to a newish speaker, maybe in the first couple of years of their role?
Right. I think the first tip I'm going to give is the tip that I think most anybody will give, and that is to speak almost anywhere. Do your best to get a fee, no matter how small it is, because I think if you're speaking for free, if you're not careful, you can get a reputation for speaking for free.
Yeah.
So at least speak for something. In the first couple of years, also, I would study where would you be of most value, and work out who your market is. Is it sales forces? Okay. Is it in the medical? Is it in schools? Is it?
So be quite specific about your marketplace.
Marketplace.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you hear people saying things, because this is one thing that I love and hate about the PSA, and that is there is so much information going around, and a lot of information is good information. In fact, I would say 99.99% is good, solid information. It's just that sometimes the information is not applicable. And what I mean by that is this: if in your market, if you decide to choose a specific market, and if your market are not on LinkedIn, so for instance, let's say you go for schools and you're heading for you're marketing to headmasters, you might get some LinkedIn, you might not get, you'll probably get most or not. Then why have you got a LinkedIn profile? Because you'll hear people say you must have a LinkedIn profile. Once you know who your market is, then you know where you need to be. And if they're on LinkedIn, like with me, my stuff is a lot of corporate stuff. It's sales forces, it's middle management stuff. People who tend to hire me tend to be internal communications directors, sales directors, marketing. They're on LinkedIn, so I need to be on LinkedIn. So, and if you need, and it's the same thing with, do you need a newsletter? Well, some people do need a newsletter because how do you keep them? And others don't because their market might not read newsletters.
So I have an occasional newsletter, but I don't put a massive. I don't do mine every week or every month. I just do it maybe every 2 or 3 months because I think it's a way of keeping in touch. Because I think I struggle from the same thing. You go away from a meeting with lots of other speakers, whether it's the PSA or whether you just meet speakers, and everyone has to have at least 5 books, full LinkedIn profile, mega website, loads of, and before you know it, you've picked up 10 things, and some of those things might not actually be relevant. I understand that.
And here's the biggest tip. You ready?
What you mean.
One step at a time.
Okay.
No, because this is something I've noticed even now. I find that I'm impatient because I'm doing my marketing, I'm doing this. Why are things not happening quicker? Right, and something just one step. Only a computer, even a computer that might do millions and billions of functions in one millisecond, still has to do all those functions one step at a time. So one step at a time, but consistent. Be consistent. And another thing, market even when you're busy. Because that's what a lot of speakers, what we do is we tend to go through feast and famine. Where, like for instance, I've gone through periods where, people are all but throwing money at me. The next minute, it's like tumbleweeds. All right, so what's happening now? What have I done wrong? And the next thing I know, people are almost throwing money at me again. And it can be up and down. Even when we're busy, and this is one thing I've started doing the last 3 years, even when I'm busy, I will still find time to market. I'll put time aside to do my marketing. Because that doesn't guarantee that you'll get work in the quieter periods, because sometimes it's quiet. It might be quiet in your market because it's generally quiet. Like for instance, schools, maybe school holidays. There's not a lot going on unless you're doing a summer school, maybe.
Sure.
But I'm saying in every market almost it's fairly quiet. So, but keep marketing.
So when you say keep marketing, be quite specific. So when you say, okay, I need to do some marketing today, what does that actually look like for John Hotowka?
So for me, for John Hotowka, my week looks like this. So once a month, I do my newsletter.
We do, yeah,
You know when your brain has an idea and your mouth doesn't want to use it? Have you ever been there?
that's okay.
I do my monthly newsletter.
Monthly newsletter, yes.
But that's just for keeping in touch.
Yeah.
Middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, for me, I will get on the phone. So
Okay.
I've got a list of companies, or in fact, I've just gone through a list of associations where I've narrowed down. If you go to NT Forum, National Trade Forum, ntforum.org, I believe it is.
Okay.
On there, you'll find a list. In fact, I said this at the last fellows meeting in October.
Okay. Yeah.
On there is a list of associations, and there's about 1,400 associations on there.
Wow.
But everything from your big associations down to fishing float makers association, but there's everything there.
Fly fishing feather makers.
Whatever it is, exactly.
Yeah.
So last June, I spent a whole day going through all those associations, and I got it down to about maybe 150 associations.
Yeah.
And I decided that every week I was going to contact 20, or make 20 phone calls every week. Wow. And I'm looking for one of three answers. And when I make the phone calls, I look up the website. Do they have a conference?
Yeah.
Quite often there's the program on there. Oh, look, it looks like I might be a fit here.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And
so obviously, if you're not a fit, there's no point ringing them.
Exactly right.
So you need to do the research first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know all of that, but when I phone them, I want to make sure that I push the right buttons as well.
Yeah.
Because I've got a great. This is another thing. Oh God, I've got so much to tell. So I'll get in touch, and I'm looking for one of three answers. I'm either looking for no, we don't have any speakers, external speakers at our events, or we don't have a speaker, because sometimes I can't see that they've got a conference. I thought, for the sake of a phone call, I'm going to phone them.
Why not? Yeah.
Or I'm looking for. Well, actually, yes, we do have external speakers.
Yeah.
We start looking for our conference is in, because I'll say you've got a conference coming up in September. You're probably too busy. You've probably got all your speakers now, but it sounds because I've come out with that kind of information. Sounds like I'm showing interest. They might say, no, you need to speak to so and so, and they start looking for their speakers in April, right in the diary.
Okay.
So that then becomes one of my 20 in that week in April to contact.
Yeah.
Or they might say, oh, as it happens, we're looking for speakers right now. I'm going to go, really? What a surprise. Really?
I'm your man.
Well, yeah, depending on your topic.
Okay,
so, but also what I've done is, because I've started 7 years ago, I rebuilt my speaking business from the ground up.
Yeah.
In fact, less than that, about 5 years now. So what I've done is I've built up so much credibility. So, for instance, I've got over 115 recommendations on LinkedIn. I've worked with some big clients now. So when I'm speaking to people, when I'm doing my 24-second pitch to them, I say, so what is it that you do exactly?
Yeah.
I'll say, well, I talk about achievement thinking, which I apply to building resilience, self-motivation, managing change. I've worked for clients like Unilever, Nestle, Virgin Holidays. Are you on LinkedIn? Yes, we are. Oh, well, as it happens, I've got over 115 recommendations on LinkedIn. Oh, and by the way, my clients tend to put me on after lunch at a conference because I'm funny and I use magic in my presentations.
Yeah.
So what I've done there is all the credibility. Okay, I talk about resilience. I talk about managing change. So what? So everybody else does.
Yeah, so you've established what you talk about, but then...
I've worked for these big clients. Oh, okay, you've worked for some big clients. All right, fair enough, okay. Yeah. And then, are you on LinkedIn? And because I've looked them up on LinkedIn, I can see if they're active. I've got over 115 recommendations at this moment in time. So now they're going, oh, right, okay. So now I've built up credibility.
Yeah.
So why am I different? Well, I'm funny as well. And my clients put me after lunch. So now they're going, right, so find out what makes you different. What is it that makes you sexy to a client? What makes you attractive to a client? Yeah. And that's the hardest thing to do, finding that.
It's nice that you've found out what makes you sexy, John.
It is.
I think that's great.
It is.
I'm pleased about that for you.
And we can use two different coloured straws. I got two straws and that's it.
It's all looking good. That is fantastic. So we're kind of running out of time, but I feel like we're just getting a little bit from you, John. So how do people, how can they connect with you, maybe join your newsletter, find out more about what you do? What's your web address and stuff?
So the website is allthews.hotowka.co.uk. So Hotowka is HOTOWKA.co.uk.
Hotowka.co.uk, and it's a fun website, lots of videos. But yeah, just sign up because your newsletter always comes out with solid stuff, with a little video, and you've done a series of videos recently, haven't you? You've got lots of stuff like that going on, which is great. So it's a pleasure to talk to you, John. This is John Hotowka, fantastic speaker, fellow and PSAE.
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 Talking to Lee Jackson, fantastic president. I don't know. I've not done my fork once or anything.
No,
I'm amazed.
You're all right. You're all right.
Thanks,
Do not fear.
Thanks.
So this is Speakers Talking About Speaking with John Hotowka and myself, Lee Jackson, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.